Let's start with a ping scan. A ping scan is one of the simplest and fastest techniques that is used to discover which devices are online in a network. You're often going to see it as the first step in a scanning process, even though it technically doesn't check ports. Instead, it's going to use a special type of a message called a ping. And a ping is a part of something called ICMP. ICMP stands for Internet Control Message Protocol. Um, so a ping is specifically an ICMP echo request. Um, and it's basically just a small message that says, hey, are you there? And if the target device is online and it's responding to ICMP, because sometimes they don't respond, but if it's online and it is responding, it will reply with an ICMP echo reply. Here we go, ICMP echo reply that says, hey, yes, I'm right here. This is one of the most basic ways to determine if a device, I'm talking computers, servers, printers, etc., is reachable and if it's powered on. And again, remember, I said that if a target device is responding to ICMP. And the reason I said if is because a lot of websites and devices are intentionally set up to not respond to pings, to not respond to ICMP requests for security reasons, right? It's common practice to try to reduce your internet footprint and potentially deter certain types of attacks that rely on using ping to figure out whether or not the device is alive and reachable. However, it is important for us to realize that disabling ping alone is not going to make your server suddenly impenetrable, right? And also, it can also make network troubleshooting a little more difficult. So, for example, you can ping google.com, but you can't ping microsoft.com. Microsoft.com will not respond to ping requests. So what a ping request does, let's look at that a little more depth. And what a ping scan does. So a normal ping targets one device. A ping scan, though, is a tool that sends ICMP echo requests to many different IP addresses all at once. Often it's going to be across a range of IP addresses. So I can maybe say send requests to IP addresses in this range, in I don't know, 181 to, yeah, and it's going to send IP echo request to all of the IP addresses in this range. And this, stop writing. This process is often called host discovery. So here's how the scan works. It's going to send a ping to every IP in the range. It's going to wait to see which ones reply, and then it's going to mark the ones that reply as alive or maybe up, and ignore the ones that don't reply. So you're going to get back a list of IP addresses that responded. Now, maybe this sounds like a port scan, but it's not. It's not a true port scan. See, ping scans are related to port scanning because they are part of network reconnaissance, but they don't inspect ports at all. All a ping scan is doing is telling you whether or not the device is up or down. A port scan, on the other hand, is going to tell you which services, which ports are open or closed on that device. So in a typical scanning workflow, first you would run a ping scan to find which devices are active, to find active devices. And then you would run a port scan only on the ones that responded. Why would we do this? Well, to save time and to save resources. In terms of security, we have to consider the fact that a lot of system or network administrators are aware of that ping can be misused in recon. So for this reason, they will disable ICMP traffic, especially on the public facing side of the network. And how do they do this? Well, they're going to configure they're going to configure firewalls and routers to drop or ignore ICMP echo requests. And as a result, even if the device is online, it won't respond to ping. This is something called ICMP stealthing. What ICMP stealthing does is it makes a machine invisible to simple ping scans. And again, how do we do that? We can do that by just configuring firewalls and routers to drop or ignore those ICMP echo requests. So, but inside of a local network, ICMP is usually still allowed because ping can be helpful for things like diagnosing network issues or like checking for packet loss or latency, or maybe even verifying that this device on my own internal network is available. So if you were to disable ping completely, although it may improve stealth, it could also make troubleshooting harder for yourself internally, especially since some tools like traceroute and some monitoring software actually rely on ICMP responses. So again, ping scan is not a port scan because it's not going to be checking for open ports. It's just checking for device availability. But we do use it because it's a fast way to see which IPs are active, which ones should we go after first, if you're thinking from the perspective of an attacker. But that's why firewalls are often used to block ICMP to try to avoid those recon attacks. So in tools like Nmap, you can actually tell Nmap to skip port scanning and just ping. So like you would just type in Nmap and then you would use the flag SN and then you would type in like your IP address after that. So let's say this is what you wanted to do. I don't know. What this is saying is, hey, I want you to skip port scanning, just perform a ping sweep. Just do host discovery over the following IP addresses, over 1.10 all the way to 192.1255.